the LA fires again, just a terrible situation. And our guest today, Maiya May, is going to talk about her new investigation, Weathered Inside the LA Firestorm. How are you, Maiya? This has got to be really, in a lot of ways, really hits home, doesn't it? In so many ways, what's happened.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I mean, yeah, working on this piece has provided a lot of mixed emotions. I mean, this is a tragedy. You know, people have lost everything, and watching from afar has been very hard. I have friends that live in LA, and I definitely was texting them the night of the fire, making sure they were okay. And communities have lost everything, but at the same time, I am grateful that I'm able to serve as like a messenger, like a liaison in a way to help survivors in these communities tell their stories. And I think the audience is going to get a lot of really good information on how we can prevent these types of disasters from happening in the future. So yeah, this is a tragedy, but I'm also grateful to be able to tell the story and to provide very useful information.
So what do you learned that the public really doesn't know that they're going to get out of this? Because, you get so many different reports and hot button topics to have a conversation, but really not as many of the facts and investigation that something like this will do.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, the resources conversation, right? That was very big during and in the aftermath of the fires. And I'll just go ahead and say that, every fire official that I talked to, I asked, would there have been enough resources to stop this fire once it got going? And the answer is no. So it's not a conversation about water. I know that was a huge thing. This there just wasn't enough resources. There would never have been enough resources to contain this fire once it got going in the urban communities. But I think, the other main takeaway here is that, and the thing that surprised me, and I think will surprise viewers, is that these types of urban fires don't have to happen. They don't. And we can make sure we build resilient enough communities and make sure our homes are hardened so that if fires do get to the point where they reach urban human communities, firefighters have enough time. We've built our homes in a way that gives firefighters enough time to actually contain it before it gets to a point to where it's destroying over 16,000 structures and killing 29 people.
No, and that's absolutely true. It's like how can we do it more quickly? Like, it just seems like in our technology days and all the things that we have and all the resources we have available, how can we prepare better for this from what you learned?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways, and we go over them in the special. But I'll go. There are three baseline level things that you can do on an individual level if you own a home to make sure it's more resilient to fire. The first is making sure you have a Class A roof. I know roofs are expensive, but if your roof isn't wooden, it's fire resistant Class A. The second is making sure the vents around your home are fire resistant with 1/8 inch or finer mesh. And the third is this is real. This, I feel like this is the most important out of like the baseline level things, and it's commonly overlooked. It's called zone zero. So making sure within 5 feet of your home around its entire perimeter that you have non-combustible materials. And that means removing things like bark chips. I was surprised at how common that is. And people do that for like aesthetic reasons, but they're highly flammable. So if you get an ember that lands on those bark chips, I mean, it's almost immediately going to go up in flames. It's so much more likely to go up in flames than something like, like pebbles or something that you can put around your home. That's still like aesthetically pleasing. But also making sure, you remove flammable vegetation. So if you have like a dead plant that's like close to the structure of your home, making sure you remove that. Rethinking wooden fences, rethinking a wooden deck, just any highly flammable material, making sure you're rethinking that in close proximity to your home. That's gonna make all the difference. And those are things that like aren't terribly difficult to do. things that are more complex is rethinking how and where we are building. That is more complex. That is also a piece to the story. But the low-hanging fruit, the easiest thing is home hardening. And that's what we talk about the most in this special.
I think and that's very interesting. And what do you think you're going to get the feedback, especially because you did this investigation? Other people are talking about it. You think you're going to think you're going to get a back and forth? Some people are going to say you're wrong, or are you expecting that? What are you expecting from this?
No, I don't think because this is not what we do on our shows is very typically like more climate science focused, and we get a lot of backlash on that. Obviously, it's unfortunately a very polarized topic.
Right.
This is a climate story in a way, and we obviously touch on that, but it's not in a lot of ways as well. It's mainly focused on how we are building, and I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to and understand. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of backlash. I think it's going to be well received, and I hope people enjoy it.
All right. Where's the best place people can check it out and stuff? Where can they go?
Yeah, so PBS, pbs.org, March 19th. It premieres at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Time. If you're on the West Coast, check your local listings.
Appreciate it. Again, definitely very interesting stuff that we have not seen in the news. That's what PBS does, right? They kind of break things down further to really give that thing. And then you can share that in classrooms. You can share it in so many different things. And that's why PBS is so important, because it educates. A lot of times we're not seeing education. We're just giving people a bunch of like talking points versus let's educate people so they can learn more about science. We can find the next scientist that could hopefully stop this someday. You know, that's the goal. Exactly. Appreciate it. Thanks again.
No problem. Have a good one.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.